Hi guys, this is Michiel of Functional Breath. It's been a while. We've been busy with the reopening after lockdown with McKay Bowls, a stand that we have at Mojo Market in Sea Point, all gluten-free and healthy food. So you don't really taste it's gluten-free. It's just super good, super healthy for you. And we've been surfing a lot, so maybe you can see the difference. It looks a bit funny. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide, what does it to you in your system? So we breathe in air from the atmosphere. We take it in our lungs, we take it in our blood, and the waste product of that comes carbon dioxide, CO2. So Buteyko is a well-known scientist and researcher especially with the lungs, and he actually states that in prehistorical times the atmospherical pressure of carbon dioxide was way higher than it is nowadays, and that actually set the basis for our responses when it comes to breathing. So CO2 is a very big regulator that communicates between the body and the brain. Yeah, so if the CO2 levels increase because of the buildup in the blood, then you really get that signal to your brain that says like, hey guy, hey man, you really have to start breathing again. Obviously, it's the oxygen that really matters if you really need to have more breathe more, but the real impulse of the brain to your body is regulated by CO2. Yeah, and that will show actually via diaphragm contractions, especially when you do breath holds, and your diaphragm will start contracting, and it's a muscle you cannot. It's a contraction that you cannot control. So it's not a bad thing. Usually you have about 1/3 left in your lung capacity. So you can still do your breath hold if you're doing breath holds anyways. But it's quite a nice thing because CO2 is even more important to a certain degree, because if you do breath holds and if you do training, you have the urge that you have to breathe a lot because you're really out of breath. It's not really because you don't have low oxygen, because your oxygen is probably already very saturated when you breathe a lot during exercise. So it's really already you won't get more oxygen in your blood actually by breathing hard. It's just your CO2 that is built up that really sends that signal to your brain from, oh, come on man, let's breathe. So the funny thing is that you actually need CO2 to get oxygen into your cell. So even if you do a lot of hyperventilation practices, it doesn't really help you to get more power or more all these kind of stuff, more endurance, more performance. So you really need to get that CO2, have a buildup of that as well, to be able to get that oxygen going into the cell to make the best of it. So I hope you learned a little bit of this. I will post a bit more regularly now, so I hope to see you soon. Cheers, cheers.